clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome to Subway Sports Talk. My name is Peter Kennedy, and I am your host. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning into SST on Apple Podcasts, have Spotify, and now on YouTube. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review on the podcast apps. Subscribe, hit the notification button on the YouTube. But now it's time to talk about some exciting March Madness stuff coming up. We did picks for football all year long, and we had a lot of fun. And we ended up above 500. Just a couple games, but above 500. Now, maybe the brackets might be busted, and maybe your Final Four is ripped apart and you only got one or two teams left. That doesn't mean you still can't have fun betting on these games going into the Sweet 16 weekend and beyond. So what we're going to do here is talk about my favorite picks for Thursday and Friday's action right here in March Madness. I got 3 picks for you guys that I really, really like. And so far, so good for your boy in the March Madness betting. Maybe not as much on the bracket front, right? But you get spreads, you get a little more wiggle room to try to make the right pick, even if you don't pick the winner, if you like an underdog. You know how betting works, right? So we'll get into that in a minute. We'll also get into Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins and Tua and what's going to go on there in another video on YouTube and on the podcast. Just hang tight. We'll get there in a minute. But first, let's hear from a friend that's called DraftKings. College basketball fans, join the action on the court during the biggest tournament of the year with DraftKings Sportsbook. Turn your team's victory into your own big win. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. I was just talking about spreads and picking an underdog with the points, whatever. That doesn't matter here. You just put $5 on any team to win, doesn't matter the spread, and you win $200 in free bets. It's a no-brainer to give it a go and bet on your favorite team. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still join the college hoops action with DraftKings pools. Everyone can play free pools all March long for a shot at a share of over $250,000 in prizes. Simply join a pool and answer questions like who will make it to the next round and who will hit the most three-pointers and track your results. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Bet $5 on any college hoops team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If they win, you win with promo code TBPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 plus restrictions apply. See show notes for details. So now we get into our best bets. And when you do that, you have to kind of recap what happened, see the performances that you think are sticking points that mean something going into the next round, right? Because sometimes you can see a team dominate the round before, you're feeling the heat, you think they're making a momentous move, and they show up flat the next round. A lot of it has to do with matchups, who they're facing, how they matched up, and what it means for the next round moving forward and their future matchups, right? And that's why I want to start here with Houston playing Arizona. Currently a 1.5 spread in favor of Arizona. And if you watched Houston play their last game against Illinois, you might feel like they are a completely dominant team, while Arizona had to go into overtime to take down TCU. But here's why I love Arizona this week, -1.5. If you want to lay the little juice here just to, get rid of the dramatics and take them at -130, I'm for that as well. But this is why I love Arizona. First and foremost, Benedict Mathurin, my favorite player in the freaking March Madness. I don't even know his name. Benedict Mathurin is a dude. He's a top 10, I think perhaps top 5 projected lottery pick in this upcoming draft. He's a sophomore who's long, tenacious, got touch, and can shoot. Now, if you watch the last game, you might say he can shoot. Perhaps not, because he didn't shoot very well from 3, nor did the entire Arizona team, right? Mathurin was just 3 of 11 from 3 in that game. Their big guy, Carissa, who's off the bench, sharpshooter, went 1 of 10 from 3. Those were huge reasons why they struggled to defeat TCU. Meanwhile, they were playing tenacious defense and offense, attacking the boards. They got a big guy in Coloco who is an absolute savage and going to dominate Houston down low on the boards. Not saying he's going to put up 28 like he did against TCU, but when you saw Kofi Cockburn get attacked by Houston and they shut him down and made it really hard for him to work towards that 19 points, that's not going to fly with this Arizona attack. A lot of people knew about this Illinois team being a one-man show, that they went as far as Kofi Cockburn could bring them. And I thought Coburn was a fantastic college player. I don't see him being an elite level athlete, an elite level game changer at the next level. You look at Benedict, I keep calling him Brandon. What is up with that? Benedict Mathurin. He's a elite level game changer right now in college, and I think projects to be a legitimate star player in the NBA. You mix that in with a sharpshooter off the bench, a nice solid quarterback really of the offense in Terry, who's the point guard there. Mathurin can kind of run point as well. And Koloko, I think it's going to be much more difficult for Houston here to shut down one person because they have multiple ways of attacking. I mean, look at this box score here. They had two guys nearly combined for 60 points. Kofi Coburn was a one-man show, couldn't even get to 20 because Houston was able to hone in and shut him down. On the Houston front, they're an athletic team. They're a good team. That's the reason why this spread is just 1.5. But what you get out of dominating an Illinois team, you might say is confidence. I say it's a little bit of they're going to meet a rude awakening when they reach a more rounded team who shot like crap in the round before, likely to regress to the mean and shoot the ball better in the following round. Houston's good. Arizona's better. And they will have the best player on the court in Benedict Mathurin. I'll take them -1.5 money line as well. On to my next pick. I'm going to go with a little 2-game money line parlay here. And part of this is because it's really good value. And the other part of it is because I don't really trust the numbers here. So Kansas is taking on Providence. It's currently at 8 points in favor of Kansas. And Villanova is taking on Michigan. They're currently 5-point favorites over Michigan. Villanova and Kansas, to me, are two of the most solid, well rounded teams in this entire bracket. They're teams that don't make a ton of mistakes. They play hardcore defense and they play at their own pace. Now, does the 5 points and the 8 points scare me? Absolutely. It does, right? And that's why you money line parlay it and you end up with -112 odds. You got -225 for Villanova, -320 for Kansas. Yeah, it's a little annoying to wait for the Thursday, Friday, but this is a cash in bet here. Connor Gillespie for Villanova is an extremely well-rounded tournament player. He has experience and he has what it takes to lead this Villanova team to the next level. Kansas, on the other hand, they are a team that I think is just so solid. Ajabi is a great player. And Providence, on the flip side, similar to what I talked about with Houston, I think they're coming off a game where they might be feeling confident, but I think it might be a false sense of confidence. Providence completely outclassed Richmond in that second round matchup. Completely outclassed them. It wasn't particularly close. I think when they walk in and see Kansas, they might be feeling good off the rip. They might have some good players. They might have Horschler who can let it fly, but Kansas is not going to make it easy on Providence. They're going to make it much more difficult to find those open shots. They're not going to dominate the glass like they did against Richmond. And all in all, Kansas is just a more well-rounded team. I know Bill Self and the Jayhawks have their woes in the tournament, not going quite as far as you would hope if you have them in your bracket on a year-to-year basis. But this feels like one of those years where they can just chip away, play solid ball, and it's going to work out because they're not running into a buzzsaw. They're not running into some sort of stellar athlete, some sort of next level prospect that's going to cut them off at the knees. They're going to be able to swallow up this Providence attack. And when you watch them against Richmond, they're getting open jumpers. They're getting inside. They are attacking on all cylinders. Not going to fly against a well-rounded defensive team with Kansas. It's not going to work out. So you get those two money lines. You get -112 odds. Now you hit on Arizona. Now you hit on the 2-day money line parlay, and you're feeling good about yourself. And then what comes up from there? You got another game that I seem to like a lot here. And it was one that initially I kind of felt a certain type of way about Iowa State. Iowa State is currently +2 against the University of Miami. And I love this guy. How do you say his name? Colshore for Iowa State. Now I never seen him play until the tournament. And this guy is a dude who can get to his spot. He's money from the mid range. He only took 4 threes and hit one. Both of these teams shot like crap. Both of them were terrible. They combined for 5 threes in the last round where they both had solidly convincing wins. But Iowa State, they played really good defense. Similarly to Houston, however, I think when you look at Wisconsin, yeah, they had Davidson making some nice plays from the perimeter. They had some nice passes inside with their bigs doing some good work. But we all know it's about Jordan Davis when it talks about Wisconsin. And they made it really hard on him. 17 points on 16 shots for Davis and Johnny Davis. I'm sorry. That is the type of thing where Iowa State was able to hone in on the guy they knew they could not let beat him. Just like Kofi Coburn, they shut him down. He only had one more point than he did shots, 4 of 16 for 17 points. It's not an efficient day. And that's because there's athletes on Iowa State. That's because they had a good attack to make his life hard, make all of his inside shots contested. And all in all, they played a well rounded game on offense and defense. But you look over at this Miami team and you watch what they did and the well roundedness on their program there. They got 4 dudes in double digits from their starting lineup. And they have a guy who can go toe to toe with Kolscher. This guy McGusty is a real deal player. He gets inside. He was 0 for 5 from 3 in his own right. So him and Kolscher both shot like crap. Again, both of these teams shot like crap from deep. But I think when I watched Iowa State and I said, wow, they're getting to their spots, nice mid-range games, good inside passes, some nice big play. Miami does that times 2 because they have more guys who can do it, more guys who can get inside and finish and pass and kick. Will the shooting turn around for either team? I would expect so. I don't think that throughout this tournament, teams like that are going to shoot that poorly. I mean, Miami was 20% from 3. That's not going to happen again. A team that shoots better consistently, they're going to do more than 3 of 15 from 3. And it wasn't just McGusty. It was Miller, the big man. It was Wong, who was bobbing and weaving, carving up the defense, getting inside, throwing down a nasty dunk on Jabari Smith. And you might say, Pete, yeah, they had to cut down Davis, did Iowa State. Maybe they just had to cut down Jabari Smith. You can argue that. You can argue that Miami had a similar, basically, task at hand that they had to go for. But Auburn is a team that's a little bit more well-rounded. They do have some good players outside of Jabari Smith, and they made Jabari Smith's life hell. Worse than Johnny Davis for Wisconsin as Iowa State attacked him. He was 3 for 16 on 10 points. So I think the combination of the more well-rounded offensive attack for Miami and their ability to shut down a guy like Kolscher, as they showed they did with Jabari Smith, I think that's the combination for success here. I think Miami -2 is the bet, and that's what you go with. So those are my 3 picks. To recap, we got Arizona -1.5, led by my guy, Benedict Matherin. And then we got the money line parlay, Villanova and Kansas, 2 nice favorites who we really do like, who are solid, well-rounded, defensive-minded teams who play at their own pace, don't get moved around, will dominate the boards, and will run into teams that breeze a little bit too easy to this next round. And they'll have a rude awakening, will Michigan and Houston, when they run into Villanova and Kansas. Last but not least, we go with Miami -2 against wow. How about that? Iowa State. There we go. And last but not least, St. Peter's, man. What a freaking story for St. Peter's. Shout out to St. Peter's College. Man, I live down the block. I'm right here. Yeah, who would have saw this coming? But I will say this. Beware of the 2 seed run. I'm sorry, the 15 seed run after beating a 2 seed. Beware of the Cinderella story because it ends. People don't want to hear this. But when you think about the Cinderellas in the tournament year over year, the 15 seed, the 14 seed, the 12, the 11, these teams that make a run usually run out of steam. So St. Peter's been a fantastic story. I don't think they're going to roll over and get smoked out here by Purdue. But if you're out here saying, oh, Peter's money line all day, every day, be careful because these seeds are low for a reason. And this is still a 12-point spread for a reason. I would much more incline you to take the 12 points and sprinkle the money line than just be like, Peter's money line, book it. It's over. They're going on a run. My white boy from St. Peter's is going to go off, and that's going to be that, right? Like that. I hate to tell you this. Cinderella stories don't usually have happy endings, unfortunately. And that's just what it is. So we'll get to Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa in just a second. If you're on YouTube, check out the next video. Appreciate you. Let's go.